Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Top Employers Institute Communication webinar. You're listening to me, Samantha Krause, Regional Director of Africa and Benelux. And over the coming hour and a half, you'll also hear from Georgie Creven from Dimension Data and Marketing Manager Lindsay Gibson as we take you through today's session from our offices in Cape Town. We chose to host this event using a platform that allows you to involve as many people as possible that are going to be working on the design of your certification communication strategy as well as its rollout in the coming weeks. What that means, of course, is that you don't get to see us in person and we don't get to see you. However, we are joined by over 100 people dialing in from across the African continent from 27 countries, representing some 80 organizations, each having achieved the goal of being certified as a top employer for 2016. So congratulations from all of us here at the Institute on this achievement. Practically speaking, for high quality audio, we advise you to use a headset as the sound clarity is far better than without it. In addition, all delegates will be muted throughout the webinar to avoid an echo. If you have questions in the session, please use the question chat function. If you look at the image on the slide, the red circle at the bottom clearly indicates where you can locate this particular function. Simply type in your question or comment and hit the send button. All questions and comments will be addressed either at the end of the presentation or if indicated after the webinar. This is because certain questions may be company specific, therefore we'd rather cover these individually via email or telephonically. We are recording this webinar and will send the recording and supporting presentation to all those joining today's session, as well as all primary contacts. This will be done via email and is a useful reference for updating team members who have not been able to join today's session. The purpose of the webinar is to bring all certified top employers up to speed on the deliverables now available to you to support your communications and employer brand activities. Further, it's designed to help you plan your time in the next 6 weeks leading up to the public announcement of top employers at the certification dinner, and by us to the general media through our PR, media partners, and of course the global website. There's a lot to get through, as you can see from the agenda, but we've really worked hard to keep the information to the point. There are 5 key agenda items. There are new delegates in the session not entirely familiar with the program, so we'll take a few moments to cover the certification itself, what it means, how it's achieved, and its impact before taking a look at the global communications best practice case study from Dimension Data, one of just 5 certified global top employers in last year's program. We'll take a look at the many employer brand reinforcement tools we have in place for you, whose very purpose it is to support your communications campaign, and Dimension Data will provide some good examples of how to lever these, so do stay tuned for that. We'll highlight our plans for the certification dinner, those of our media partners with timelines for the announcement of top employers so you can plan your campaign to coincide with ours. When every single top employer communicates with their industry media staff and important stakeholders on the 2nd of October, along with us, together we reach the media and the market with great impact. So let's do this together. Finally, we'll end with the planning calendar. So a little bit about our organization. We globally certify organizations with proven excellence in the conditions they create for their employees and have recognized top employers around the world who've achieved this standard for the last 25 years. We currently have over 1,000 participants in more than 100 countries across every continent in the world. 27 of those countries are represented by the African Certification Program. The Top Employer certification earned after completing a rigorous research process each year provides independent, verifiable proof that your company provides an enriching experience for its employees. The red seal indicates when the certification is achieved in one country. The blue is the continental certification, and for Africa requires an organization is certified in 4 or more African countries on the continent in the same year. The gold seal is earned by organizations certified across continents and a number of countries on those continents. More information on this can be obtained from our business managers. The process that underpins the certification involves a number of key steps administered over an annual period. Our research methodology assesses an organization's employee conditions based on HR policy and practice. Our research does not measure employee opinion or satisfaction through an engagement study. The certification program itself is governed by a strict global process. So the program we implement in South Africa is exactly the same as we do in the USA, UK, or in Kenya, and all of the 100 countries in which we run the program. There is a minimum full-time employee number that acts as an entry criteria which all companies around the world must adhere to. National companies must have a minimum of 250 employees and multinationals 2,500 employees worldwide. Firstly, the HR Best Practices Survey covering 9 HR topics, 100 questions, and approximately 600 practices and policies is completed by senior HR leaders in the organization. This survey is then validated along with the required supporting documentation or evidence for a broad sample selection of answer options. This is done either as a validation call or an on-site visit with each participant to confirm or test the information provided. And this is where we test the rigor of the survey and the documents submitted. Once done, an external auditing firm then audits the certification program's prescribed procedures, scoring model, and processes to ensure they've been implemented correctly and thoroughly tested, providing you with the assurance as to the data integrity. From there, we enter the certification process. Only the organizations that achieve the required minimum cutoff score of 60% in the survey are officially certified as top employers and may carry this title and status for a 1-year period. This is followed by a final step that is the final certification, which takes place at the dinner each year where your status is finally made official. Thereafter is feedback and benchmark reports that are delivered to you by your business manager. So about the certification itself, the use of the certification's title and seal is bound by strict rules. Take note of the embargo, this is so important, on all communications, and plan your activities and launch for internal and external communication on and from the 2nd of October. Of course, you will indeed communicate your campaign or with your certification campaign task team as you prepare your 2016 campaign rollout, which should act in support of all your employer brand activities and initiatives for the next 1-year period. Your right to use the logo is subject to the Top Employers Institute's general terms and conditions as described in the guidelines for the use of the certification seal. This document is located in your resource center, which we'll get to in a little bit later in this webinar. Before using the seal, make sure you know all about the guidelines for statements about the seal, technical information, and the right and wrong way to reproduce the image. Should you have any queries, do contact Lindsay Gibson, our marketing manager. So, who needs to know that you're certified as a top employer, and why is it important? It adds value to your current employees, helping to foster pride in the employer, place of work, and their own jobs. It works to support engagement activities, to offer verifiable proof that yours is the right organization for them to build their careers in. When clearly positioned with potential employees, it will assist in your attraction activities as you develop your talent database and conduct your various recruitment activities. At the Institute, we believe it most important to comprehensively inform executive managers and shareholders about the certification, the research methodology, and the achievement itself, because it proves the importance of HR in the business, and thus the sustainability of the human resources in place in the business that will drive the strategy for the next 3 to 5 years. It's a strong assurance that the business is in very capable hands. Of course, being a partner of choice or a service provider of choice is key to all of us. So informing clients and other stakeholders will help confirm their trust in your services and partnership. It's important to spread the news, and if you need more reasons to do so, you need only look to the study conducted into the impact of the certification seal, framed in our Power of the Certification Seal research report. The study found that employers with the certification are received more positively, that it strengthens the employer brand, and that the quality, reliability, and expertise are all keywords associated with the certification seal. Overall, the study proved that top employers are perceived as leaders, as more honest, more innovative and personal than non-top employers. This research study will also be sent via email along with a recording of this presentation at the end of the session. In 2014, our CEO, David Klink, sent a message through every certification dinner held that year, where he announced that as of 2015, we would introduce the Top Employers Global Certification Program. And in March this year, at the world-renowned Hermitage Museum in Amsterdam, at the inaugural Global Certification Dinner, that is exactly what we did. We are therefore proud to introduce one of 5 officially certified global top employers to present this year's case study on communicating the certification. Joining us from Dimension Data in Johannesburg is Georgina Creven, the Group HR Attract and Engage practitioner. Georgie completed her business science marketing degree at the University of Cape Town. She is in the Dimension Data Global HR team, where her key responsibilities have involved the coordination and management of projects in the talent attraction space. Today, she unpacks the Global Top Employers Communication Strategy. What she will share is both inspirational and practical, with key lessons for not only multinational organizations, but certainly national as well. So to everyone listening, take note that we will switch presentation mode over to Georgie, who will take the lead from her Johannesburg office. When we do so, your screen will revert back to the screen you first saw upon entering the webinar. Don't be alarmed, you have not been kicked out of the session. It will take about 15 to 20 seconds for the presenters to switch screens.
Great, thank you for the introduction, Sam. Very excited to have the opportunity to tell you all a bit more about how Dimension Data leveraged our top employer status. And before I start, if you do have any questions during the presentation, please just post them in the question tab on the right of your screen, and then we'll come to them at the end if we have some time. So I'm sure there are a number of you who may know who we are and a number who I'm sure don't. So I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot of who Dimension Data is. So Dimension Data today, we're almost a $7 billion business with over 6,000 clients, and we're now just over 28,000 employees with a footprint spanning 58 countries. And we're an information and communications technology provider. I thought it was just worth mentioning our vision, which is to deliver exceptional value to our clients through our great people, and of course our great people being at the heart of our success. So let's just look at some of the key reasons why we as an organization decided to participate in the Top Employer program. So we have an ambitious growth target to double our business over a 5-year period, and we'll only of course succeed if we have the best people on board to help us get there. Another key reason was we wanted to strengthen our employer brand. And because we're not a consumer-facing brand, people often don't know us, so this is a vital part of our talent acquisition strategy. Increasing our brand awareness gave us the opportunity to put our brand out there and positioning us against other leading brands as the best place to work. External benchmarking of best practice. Of course, this gives you a great sight of your company's performance relative to other participating countries. And participating organizations, and allows you to identify areas of improvement. Of course, looking at our clients, in order to keep our clients happy, we need to make the right investments in our people and keep them engaged. And supporting our growth in our IT outsourcing business, knowing that those potential clients' employees are coming over to a good working environment is such an important proof point for us in winning those outsource bids. I'm just going to take you through an overview of which countries we have certified across the globe. So we're certified in 25 countries, and we're a continental top employer across 3 continents. You'll see North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and then a top employer in South Africa, Chile, and Australia. So now I'm going to talk you through how our communications plan and how we went about actually leveraging this top employer status both internally and externally. So our campaign objectives, of course, internally was to create awareness amongst our employees of our global status, engage them and create some sort of anticipation and excitement around the award, and equip employees, our talent acquisition and marketing teams with the right material so that they could articulate what this award meant for us as an organization. And then externally, as I mentioned, to increase our brand awareness, especially in markets where we aren't that well known, establish credibility for our organization and our brand as a great place to work amongst potential candidates, and demonstrate to our clients that we're making the right investments in our people. So we found out under embargo that we had been certified in mid-December, right around the time everyone was going on holiday. So when we returned at the beginning of January this year, we literally had 2 months to come up with a plan, with a public announcement being made on the 5th of March. So working with such a tight deadline, we involved our marketing, comms, and PR teams right from the very beginning. And we needed to make sure this was top of their priority list. As Sam mentioned earlier, we formed a task team because, of course, we couldn't announce the award internally either yet until the formal announcement on the 5th of March. And we worked in complete partnership with our marketing and comms team throughout the whole process. So to kick things off, we held a concept meeting with our in-house creative team to start brainstorming around how we wanted to create that internal awareness amongst our employees. What messages we wanted to get across, the visual language, something perhaps to create some kind of anticipation prior to the award. So we launched an internal teaser campaign. In the 3-week lead up to the announcement, we launched this campaign to create some kind of anticipation that something big was coming. This consisted of a series of 3 e-cards that went out to all employees, and then we also put up banners across our intranet. And we purposely went with the theme of liquid gold taking shape, so that when we did make the big announcement using our announcement video, which you would have all seen in the invite for today's webinar, the whole theme tied together. So where we had the liquid gold, of course, eventually forming our gold top employer seal. So these are just examples of the e-cards that went out to all employees. Okay, then the big announcement on the 6th of March. Of course, we put the message across all of our internal channels. We sent out e-cards by mail to all employees. We had banners across our intranet. We had login pop-ups. It was featured in our global weekly newsletter. And also, you'll see we engaged our executives. There's 2 examples here of our CEO, Brett Dorfson, and our CEO, Jason, who yammered about the award. Yammer is our internal social network, just to get those conversations going and to engage our employees. Besides for these globally driven communications, we also provided our regions and all our countries with the drafted mail that they could send out from their regional or country CEO announcing the certification. And so we wanted to drive as much consistency around messaging and visuals as possible. Okay. Our CEO and HR executive also made a separate announcement call to our Global Leadership Forum on the morning after the certification dinner, so that they had full sight of what this award meant for us as an organization, and they could cascade that message down into their teams. Okay, so over and above announcing the big news on our online channels, we wanted it to be fun. We wanted some kind of celebration so that employees felt part of the achievement and could celebrate with their peers. So we asked all our HR directors across the globe to organize some sort of fun way that would work for them to make the surprise announcement. We had everything from desk drops to cakes to full-on parties in some of our offices. So we were creating awareness around the award while still making it a fun event. It's worth mentioning that we didn't actually fund this at a group level, so it really was about that stakeholder engagement and leaving it up to our country HR directors on how they decided to do this. Okay, so after the Big Bang announcement, of course we needed somewhere to host all our top employer materials and collateral, somewhere in a centralized location where any employee could easily access it. So we decided on our internal brand portal, we created a top employer section, which was very obvious with the top employer gold seal, where we held everything from email signatures, our launch video, communication materials, a corporate identity guide with information on how to co-brand with our Dimension Data logo. And most importantly, we created an overview presentation which explain more on how we achieved the global certification, the criteria, and what this meant for us as an organization. We also, it's worth mentioning, held update calls with our talent acquisition teams across the globe to talk them through the certification, how we achieved it, and what this meant for us in our efforts to attract top talent. Okay, so now that we've had a look at what we did internally, I'll take you through how we promoted our award externally. So first up, we needed a visual and messaging to be used for all external announcements and adverts, so consistent across all channels and in line with our brand. And again, we worked in complete partnership with our marketing, comms, and PR teams to get this delivered. So straight after the formal announcement was made, we posted updates on all our global social media channels, on our corporate website, and we provided our regions with a list of social updates that they could use for their regional social media pages so that we kept a consistent message throughout. And of course, we needed to provide all this information in advance, so we gave enough lead time for everyone to prepare. We also advertised both print and online with the Financial Times, who are a media partner of the Top Employer Institute. And this for us was a great opportunity to position ourselves amongst other leading brands as a best place to work. Also driving brand exposure in markets where we aren't that well known, specifically Europe and the Americas. Okay, then we also launched a global press release and drafted a client mail for our various countries and regions to send on to their clients announcing the big news. So again, this was all laid out for them with the same banner so that we kept that consistent message. We were able to luckily measure the return on investment of our press release, and this is just a snapshot of the report which provides analytics on traffic sources, reach, and number of views per country, so we could monitor that quite carefully. The PR report also gave us a full view of our social media reach, providing all mentions who they were made by and on what channels, allowing us again to monitor that return on investment. Okay, then the effects of our exposure and announcing this certification externally. Of course, we can't say with certainty that it was all due to the Top Employer announcement, but there was an obvious spike in our company page views across social channels like Glassdoor and LinkedIn. Okay, I did just think it was worth calling out the importance that stakeholder engagement played throughout this whole campaign process. As we coordinated this project from the center, from our group head office, we needed to work in full collaboration with all of our countries. We didn't have the luxury of time, so we involved the relevant stakeholders along the way and got buy-in so it didn't slow down the entire project. And we provided regular updates and asked for input, of course, where needed, to our executive team, our HR directors across the globe, and our regional marketing and comms teams. So now that the hype of the Big Bang announcement has died down, we needed to look for ways to continue to leverage the certification and keep it current for employees and continue to leverage it externally. We really do make full use of our golden seal wherever and whenever we can. I'll take you through some of the ways that we've integrated our top employer status externally and across our internal campaigns. So here is just an example of a referral campaign we ran internally, of course the gold top employer seal being prominent there. This is our Taleo interface, so all candidates see this when they apply for a job through Dimension Data. We are the official technology partner for the Tour de France, so our top employer status is also made prominent through all advertising as part of our Tour de France partnership. And then this was a great campaign that some of our countries ran where they promoted our various benefits, demonstrating to our employees why we are in fact a top employer. Okay, so looking at the aftermath of our global certification, we've seen a significant impact across our efforts to attract new talent and engage our employees. I also asked our various talent acquisition teams across the globe to provide me with some feedback on how the certification has impacted their efforts, and these are some of the responses I received. So it's just a great way, again, to start those conversations with potential candidates. It's significantly helped our graduate recruitment efforts, of course increased our brand awareness. People actually want to work for a top employer and see this as an advantage, and in some instances it's swayed the decision for candidates to choose us over and above a competitor just simply because we are recognized for our outstanding work environment. So when we look at the objectives, overall we were extremely happy with the outcome of the campaign. I definitely think we could promote the certification more with our clients and potential clients, but from a talent, attract and engage perspective, the investment 100% paid off. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I know that there was a lot I covered in a short amount of time, but I hope I've left you with some ideas on how you can promote your employer certification and keep it relevant even after the hype of the big announcement has subsided.
Okay, thank you, Georgie. That's a really insightful presentation. Know that you're still unmuted so that we can possibly handle some questions. If you have any questions to everyone listening, please do type them in the question function. We have one that's come through. Someone's asking, how difficult was it, Georgie, to get buy-in from marketing and PR and also from the executive managers of the business in actually building a campaign, providing budget and rolling it out?
Okay, so let me answer that question in a twofold approach. So firstly, getting buy-in from our marketing and PR teams. As I said, we consulted with them at the very beginning, so we made this as much as their project as it was ours. Of course, we couldn't silo this to HR. We needed their help, and this did cross over into their domain. So we did form a task team, and we got their buy-in from the beginning. We really treated it as a group collaborative project. So we all supported each other, we asked for input, and we made it quite an exciting. Obviously, we had to keep it a secret amongst a small group of us. So, you know, we from the outset didn't make it just an HR, seen as an HR project announcement or win. And then the second part of the question was around, did you say executive buy-in, Sam?
Yes. Yes, executive buy-in.
So our group HR executive, Marilyn, she was, of course, supportive of this whole process along the way, and she, at every exco meeting, brought it up with our CEO, our COO, our regional CEOs, put it on their agenda and made them know that this was possibly coming our way. And from the beginning, just asked them for support. And that was really, I mean, it was quite high on the executive agenda. And because we are growing at such a rapid rate and talent attraction is such a big focus for us, it really wasn't an issue getting that executive buy-in. They saw the importance that this is adding to our overall business strategy.
Okay, that's excellent, because one of the other questions was it immediately obvious to them as to the benefit of marketing your status as a certified top employer? And I think you have indeed answered that.
Yes, I think so. When we put it in context of our overall business strategy, you know, and we demonstrated the role that this certification would play in helping us achieve various business goals, it was fairly clear.
All right, and then one last question. What was the general reaction from your employees? Can you give us some insight to that?
So general reaction, I mean, very positive. Because we are such a large organization, a lot of the conversations happened across our internal social network, Yammer, where we had people from across all our offices posting pictures of the awards, you know, saying how proud they were. Of course, there is the other side where, you know, we haven't actually measured internally or done a survey around feedback on whether employees perceive us to be a top employer, which is something that we do want to look into. But overall, it was just really a sense of pride and celebration from all our employees across the globe.
Okay, thank you, Georgie. We do have another question that's come in, which is, how are you gauging the recognition of the SEAL's impact on a global scale or globally?
Gauging recognition, so we don't specifically measure that, but as I said during the presentation, we really do put the seal across any internal campaign where it's relevant and externally. So when you say gauging recognition, I'm assuming you're meaning our employees or potential candidates are recognizing that seal.
Yes.
As I showed you some examples earlier, it's really just making that seal prominent and using it as a proof point across any channel or campaign that we can, both internally and externally. And again, because most of the campaigns, you know, are driven or run by marketing, again, we work in full collaboration with them, and it's on their agenda to include this wherever possible.
Well, thank you so much for the insight. It has indeed been an inspiring session, and to everyone listening, I hope that it was as inspiring and also practical for you. So, Georgie, thanks for joining us, and now we'll switch back.
Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So now we'll switch screens again and change presenters again. The same thing will happen. Don't be alarmed. You're not being kicked out of the webinar. As we switch the screens, your screen will change, and we'll get going with the second or third part of the presentation in just a few seconds. As a certified top employer, which you all are, you now have access to a range of deliverables that include partners and tools that will assist you in communicating your status. As you steal some ideas potentially from Dimension Data or come up with some very creative ideas for yourself.
I'll listen on the phone.
From our media partners to an online resource center and our global website with your individual company profile, there are a number of tools available to you. I now invite our marketing manager, Lindsay Gibson, to lead the presentation from this point and take some time to unpack each one of these so you know what's available and what you can include in your campaign and where you can actually find these tools.
Great, thank you, Sam. So first, we're going to be looking at our official media partners for the 2016 campaign. Our official newspaper partner is the Mail and Guardian. So as with previous years, the Mail and Guardian is going to publish an exclusive print and online supplement. It's aimed at the general professional and the public. So this year we have an exciting announcement. We're going to be welcoming HR Future as they're an exclusive HR publication partner. So their special feature will appear the month after the certification dinner, and it really is aimed at the HR professional. So the content will be tailored for that audience. The aim of both partnerships is to outline the group of certified companies on the African continent for 2016. And of course, we want to provide insights into the certification program and unpack the research findings, the trends, the best practices. And this year, our topic is going to be on HR, how and why it's measured. And we're going to look quantitatively at the return on investment of HR as a business partner through interviews with HR leaders from the top employer database. Not sure what that was. Only top employers have the right to advertise in these supplements. That's quite important to note. And both of these supplements are going to provide you with a targeted moment to launch the organization's certification status to the different audiences. So just dates of release, the Mail and Guardian news supplement is going to be published on the 2nd of October. So that's the morning after the dinner. If you're attending the dinner with us, you're going to be able to pick up a copy of the supplement on the evening. Do note that a representative from the Mail and Guardian is going to be in touch from the 24th of August to present you with advertising opportunities. And then HR Future will be in contact from the 2nd of October. So again, that's the day after the dinner. And they will discuss opportunities within this new editorial feature. So the program has always enjoyed widespread broadcast coverage, particularly from the channels that you see here. This year we've had cliffcentral.com join us as the official broadcast partner. Interesting fact, they have had over 3 million podcast downloads through their innovative online approach since launching on the 1st of May 2014. And what we've done with them this year is we've had a Top Employer Spotlight series. It started on the 3rd of June. So we had 3 or 4 months running up to the announcement on the 2nd of August. And every 2 weeks, there were slots airing on the Gareth Cliff Breakfast Show. And as our broadcast partner, what they did is the survey topics was covered in the series. So Gareth Cliff interviewed various HR leaders from our Certified Top Employers program from last year. And really the purpose of the campaign was to build awareness around the announcement for Top Employers 2016, which will take place on the 1st of October. And then finally, for those of you who are certified continentally, so Top Employers Africa, as Georgie mentioned, the Financial Times is the worldwide media partner, and that participation in that supplement is exclusive for organizations who've achieved continental or global certification, and it's published annually to a global audience in March. So March 2016 is when that supplement will come out, and we will definitely be in touch to inform you about that opportunity well in time. So Top Employers Africa, do take note of that for first quarter next year. General program publicity. So the certification program, we have 3 focuses. The first one is pre-announcement campaign publicity, then we have the official announcement campaign, and then post-announcement coverage. And all of it pivots around the actual date of the certification dinner. So almost imagine that timeline in your mind. This is a critical time where we can really leverage off each other's momentum as we build up to that date of announcement. So to date, the content for our campaign has been based on the 6 HR series reports, and they focused on the core topics within our global survey, things like leadership development, performance management, career and succession management, compensation and benefits. That's the next one coming out, and then onboarding will be released early next year. Our PR agency, Rothko, have been managing that distribution process for us. And this year, as we continue to grow our brand up into Africa, we have focused on sending all of those releases to dedicated lists of journalists and publications and media on the African continent, specifically within the financial, business, as well as HR media spaces. Please note that if the reports are kind of new to you and you haven't seen them before, you can log on to the website topemployers.com and click on HR Insight Series link, and all of the reports are available there for download. We really would like to continue working with you to build the brand within the African continent. So if you or anyone in your team have really strong media connections and you want to ensure that those media are on our media list, please do get in touch with me and I will connect you with Rothko to ensure that those contacts are listed. Pre-announcement coverage, so that's where we are now. We're using a three-pronged strategy, again based on that HR Insight series, but it's aimed at two distinct audiences that we want to speak to. The first audience is the professional, and then the second, which is your peer group or the industry and the HR leader, and then of course the professional who would be that desirable employee. The cover is provided throughout the year via this campaign within our media partners, the Mail and Guardian and Cliff Central, as well as those who publish the reports that we send out. The coverage for the actual upcoming 2016 announcement, we're going to be working with Rothko to prepare our public messaging. Please, this is a note for you to make for your internal communications. Rothko might contact you or one of your HR team or your executive leadership team prior to the announcement for commentary that will be included within the announcements. Similarly, the Mail and Guardian may also contact you for commentary. Do note that that is going to happen. On the evening of the certification dinner, we're going to have a dedicated social media table for the official announcement on the night's proceedings, and the purpose is really so that we can in real time cover the activities and results and create a huge social media splash. So we want to have your social media executives join us. Obviously capacity is limited at the table itself, so we're going to accommodate social media team members on a first come, first serve basis. So have them contact me for collaboration. Media interviews on the evening are going to take place on the red carpet. So if you have a TV crew that you'd like to join us in the media area to cover the event, please also contact me for that media accreditation personally. And then after the dinner, post-announcement, there's going to be a series of official statements to the media. Our CEO, David Plink, will be conducting several interviews on the day after the event, and he'll be talking comprehensively about the research outcomes. The media coverage from our PR and then interviews with our country manager, Billy Elliott, will also continue well into the weeks after the announcement. And of course, that special supplement with an HR Future will also come up then. Really important. This is where, again, that momentum we can generate with social media is going to continue into the media. So we've prepared press releases for each of you as a certified top employer. And these are located in your resource center. That's that screen that you already see. I'm going to take you through that in a little bit. So please make a note to go and find that press release or have one written yourself and personalize it and send it to media, specifically maybe your industry media to start with. The embargo to share that information lifts at 9:30 on the 1st of October. So that is the evening of the dinner. So as top employers receive this widespread coverage every year, we're going to encourage you to join us within that effort together with the tools that we've created for you hosted within the resource center. And that's what it'll look like once you've logged in. So as a certified top employer, this is yours. You have your own resource center. It's dedicated to your organization, to your brand. You will each be receiving an individual login code and password that will provide you access to the resource center the day after this session, so in other words, tomorrow. Please look out for that email from our international project manager, Marley Hooghaart. The login, you will notice there's just one password and code. It's for everybody, so do share it with your whole HR team, all the stakeholders involved in your campaign, with your marketing team, your comms team, your PR agency, your ad agency. You can all use the same login code for that. Let's have a look and see what's in the Resource Center. So in it, you're going to find communication tools, the all-important certification seal. There will be customized company announcements, PR templates. They've already been written, they're already press releases, and you can easily download those and send those to the general media and also your industry. Within these press releases, we've included quotes from our CEO and our country managers, and we've given you a space to include quotes from your organization. They're editable, so you can use that and replace it with your own executives on how the certification was achieved. You're also going to find HTML codes for online use, and I really want to encourage you to use that in your website and social media spaces for your brand to display that you've been certified as a top employer. And the other really useful thing in the Resource Center is that there are tons of examples of how top employers from right around the world have used the seal in creative ways. Really inspiring. Almost as good as Georgie's presentation, but not quite. Okay, so when you click on the My Research tab within your Resource Center, you're going to find that you have access to the program planning, as well as your feedback session and your benchmark reports, and they're all saved here for the duration of your top employer status. This is your official on-site space, and then we're also going to be putting your feedback session here, and then note that if you have any questions about the methodology used within the top employers certification program, that is also hosted here. You can access the reports to discover what are the strengths that you have as a top employer relative to your benchmark group, and then again with your marketing and PR team, do you use that information to market yourself as an employer? That's really what your unique selling proposition is from the research. And the certification dinner, so the photos from the evening are also going to be hosted within the Resource Center, and these photos will be uploaded during the course of the month after the dinner, but the day after the dinner they will be made available immediately on Flickr. So we will send you a link where all of those photos are uploaded, and you can go and find them and use them for release within the media almost immediately. Okay, so here next we have your company profile. This is really important. The profile is updated by you and your team through the Resource Center, so you use those same login details to do this. And please complete your profile by the day of the certification dinner at 9:30, because the top employer's website is updated at that time and made live by our HQ marketing team. I'll tell you more a little bit about that in the next couple slides. Finally, you're going to be able to access the web shop using the Resource Center tool. So the web shop's an online store where we have a range of top employers merchandise, conveniently branded and located all in one place. You can purchase things like flags, extra certificates, glass awards, mugs, to really share that brand status with your staff, either in the reception or your foyer, in meeting rooms, all throughout your organization. So all participants from across the continent and the 27 countries represented can place orders through the web shop in the Resource Center. So everybody listening is able to go and do that. But do note that there are exciting limited edition items that you're not going to find in the web shop. You wonder, where will you find those? So for a limited time, we're offering a range of exclusive items. You're going to be securing those by using the order form that was sent to you in your next steps communication. You should see an image of that order form on your screen, so your primary contact will have received that email. And items that you could order include co-branded golf shirts, lanyards, mouse pads, button badges, and all of these are really handy items for things like town halls, leadership conferences, your year-end functions, those are sooner than you think, and of course next day celebrations, so just for your internal use on the 2nd. If you do choose any of these items and you also want a few of the standard web shop items, please feel free to use the form. Just note that all of the limited edition items are for local South Africa delivery only. As an incentive, when you order values to the value of 10,000 Rand or more, we're going to discount the price by 10%. And if you elect to order that as a high priority order, we'll give you a further discount on the delivery surcharge of 10%. Just some important terms and conditions to take note of relating the priority status that you elect with your merchandise orders. So if you've chosen high priority, those items will be delivered on or before the day of the certification so that they will coincide with your own company launch on the 2nd of October. In order for us to meet that deadline, we can't accept any high priority orders after the 28th of August. That's really soon. So please ensure that you order the correct company logos if you're choosing the co-branded items and that you supply those in time. And with the co-branding, please ensure that your internal approval process is really speedy so that we can make that delivery deadline. All other priority items, the medium and low ones, the delivery times are as you see them indicated. The Top Employers Institute has one dedicated global website. You can find it at top-employers.com, and on it, every single certified top employer from around the world has a personalized company profile with all of their relevant certifications organized per employer as well as per program. So your company profile, this is the showcase that is where people can see what makes you as a certified organization an employer of choice. You will be accessing it, as mentioned, through your resource center, and please make a note to update it before 9:30 on the 1st of October so that when our HQ marketing department does make the website live, all of your information is complete and up to date. If you haven't updated the information, note that your profile will be made public as it is, and that'll be really disappointing for audiences who visit the site. So we strongly advise that you take the time that you have now up to the 30th of September to complete it. It really is a simple process. And good news, if you have participated before and you were in the program last year, when you log in, you'll notice that your company profile is just about complete. So for your convenience, we've inserted the information that you gave us last year. Please do peruse the content and then just update it with any new information. We recommend that you use this time to complete your introduction to the company, perhaps update a photo impression, include some photos from the dinner last year, or if you're on the ball, go to Flickr and download the ones the day after and update those. Ensure that you make a selection of the employee offerings that you'd like to have on your profile, and then also include a company video. If we have produced a red carpet video for you in the past, use that. If you've elected that this year as part of the premium experience table for the certification dinner, we will update those to your profile after the dinner.
So, Lindsay, before you end off your section, we have a couple of questions that came through while you were talking about the media partners. The first of which is, will the Cliff Central Spotlight continue after the 2nd of October? What is the plan there?
It will. We're actually going to be doing a round table at the evening of the dinner, and that will be broadcast the day after. There will be an opportunity for organizations, if you wanted to get in touch with Cliff Central and do something different. I know they went and visited Unilever last year, and they kind of did their broadcast there, so there are opportunities. When we do another series based on our content from the HR Best Practices survey, we will definitely communicate that.
Okay. And then another question coming through on, it's fine that we're working with Gareth Cliff, but where do we stand with other potential partners such as radio stations like 702?
That's a really good question. So we do get coverage on stations like 702. One of the reasons we haven't necessarily investigated doing almost like a branded content piece with them is because we get the regular coverage that's almost more valuable in a way. But so we are definitely getting coverage on 702. We just haven't for this year chosen to do a branded content campaign with them, but it's definitely something that we can investigate for next year.
Excellent. Thanks, Lindsay.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Sam. I am going to hand back to Sam, and she's going to share with you what we can expect from the certification dinner this year before we wrap up.
So we look forward to celebrating with all of you, all certified top employers, at the annual certification dinner, where, as you now know, your status will become official. By this stage in your next steps communication, you will have received your invitation to the dinner. The dinner is on the 1st of October at Gallagher Estate in Johannesburg. And this year, our celebrity host is actor and comedian Riyad Musa. I think it's going to be a fun night. Registration starts from 5 o'clock and proceedings start at 6 p.m. sharp. Please, in the interest of time, do your best to be there for that start time. This event is very well attended by CEOs and top executives. Dress code is black tie, and this is an auspicious, smart occasion. So really, dress to impress. Be sure also to select your experience, either premium or classic. So either with an interview, moe, private bar and butler, or not, in the coming days to avoid disappointment, particularly because the premium experience tables are limited. The final booking deadline is 10 September, so that's also coming up quite shortly. However, delegate names and dietary requirements are only needed by the 18th of September. We once again expect a large number of delegates to attend this dinner. And as you can imagine, it's quite a coordination effort. So please do your best to prevent last-minute name changes or booking deadlines. Also, be sure to check the terms and conditions to understand our cancellation policies for the dinner. In order to make your booking, please access the online RSVP system through the invitation that was sent to you. Where it says click here, you'll be taken to the relevant page and you can follow the booking link straight through to the online system. So on the night, we're going to certify top employers from across the continent. We'll look at top employers in Africa and also highlight the #1 on the African continent. We'll name all South Africa's top employers, the industry leaders, the top 10, and of course, the #1 in South Africa. So finally, let's take a look at the upcoming planning calendar. So between now and the end of August, you'll receive login codes for your resource center so you can get busy with building your campaign and using the various templates we've provided to you. Our media partner, Mail and Guardian, will be in touch to update you on the opportunities to advertise within the special. And yes, high priority web shop orders need to be placed if you want those delivered well in time for your launch activities on the 2nd of October. In September, by the 10th, we need your final table bookings, delegate names by the 18th of September, and your company profile should be updated no later than the 30th of September. In October, the 1st of October is the certification dinner. The media partner special with Mail and Guardian will be published on the 2nd, and from the 2nd, HR Future will be contacting you to get you involved in their content series. Feedback sessions, as you know, will be conducted between October and November. So I do suggest that someone from marketing sits in on those really HR content specific sessions to understand and get to grips with whatever it is that makes you strong as an employer, so that can be levered and marketed as part of your employer brand strategy. And then in November, HR Future will publish their own content special. Lindsay, are there any further questions at this time? Number of delegates per company. That is a question that has come through. Every single certified top employer has 2 free seats to the dinner. But you can bring as many delegates as you would like. It's up to you to buy additional seats or purchase a table or 2, and there are various discounted options available to you on that. But really, it's unlimited. If you want to bring your entire HR team or your entire executive team or a portion of your staff complement, we invite you to do so. We're at Gallagher Estate, so we have enough space. Really, go to town, celebrate with us. Well, that's the last of the questions. I'd really like to thank you for your time, your attention. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to celebrating with you. Look out for the email after this webinar, which will have the recording and the accompanying presentation and documentation. Thanks again to Georgie Creven from Dimension Data, to Lindsay for your portion of the presentation. Thank you and goodbye.